What's up, YouTube? Zachary Michaels here. I'm an actor, and this is An Actor Reacts. Today we'll be reacting to Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3 of The Boys. Let's discuss. Before we get started, if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. The first 3 episodes of Season 2 of The Boys were released September 4th, 2020 on Amazon Prime. The series was developed by Eric Kripke and is based on the comic book of the same name by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. It follows a team of vigilantes as they combat superpowered individuals who abuse their abilities. Okay, so Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3. I was planning on reviewing the full Season 2 today, but, they only released the first 3 episodes. I wish they would have just released the full season how they did last time and how they did with most of their shows, but I mean, I get where they did it, especially how, popular Season 1 was. They're trying to get as many people as possible to, be on Amazon Prime on a weekly basis, but, they could have just released Season 2, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm happy we got something, so let's get into the good, the bad, and I'll tell you my rating for this season so far. And just a heads up, we will be talking spoilers on the first 3 episodes, just in case anyone hasn't seen them yet. So let's get into it. Okay, so my good. There's a lot of good on this show. Just quick overall things for the overall series. I love their more realistic portrayal of what being a superhero would mean in today's world. It wouldn't necessarily be like a Captain Marvel or a Spider-Man or a Superman type thing where these are good people who just happen to have special abilities, but they're trying to still be good people and do good things, and they don't care about the clout or whatever. It would be more so like this, I think, because they would just be glorified celebrities who have superpowers. So it'd be like if Kim Kardashian and Kanye West also had superpowers. They're already, especially Kanye, already have this huge perception of themselves and already do a lot of outlandish things. So I can only imagine if Kanye West actually had superpowers, how he would be. He'd be like these characters in this show. So I love that aspect of it. These are true anti-heroes, and the Homelander who puts on that reminds me of the media trained celebrities who are shiny out in public but brutal behind closed doors. And then again, that's only amplified when you have superpowers and you're kind of unstoppable by most people. So it's I just love that dynamic. And then I think a lot of the characters in this show are so well developed. Really, all the characters. I said almost, but all the characters are really well developed. There's not one that I can think of where I don't feel something for them, whether good or bad. And that's just good writing. So props to the creators and the comic books and the writers and the actors. Really great characters, really great story, and a nice realistic, kind of gruesome at times, but realistic portrayal of what being a superhero would be. Okay, now specifically Season 2. I loved Vought being brought down right in the first 3 episodes. That was a really good moment for me, especially since that was what they were trying to do all of Season 1. And you saw, we learned that the other guys, Billy and all of them, they've been trying to bring Vought down for years, and now Huey's been able to do it. Huey and Stargirl have been able to make it happen, and Huey's my favorite. Just because he's out of all the characters, he's the one in the show that would be me. One that'd be the character that I would play in this kind of show, and it'd be in real life, I'm pretty sure I would be the Huey in this situation. So I enjoy seeing the show through his eyes, and he gets himself into some terrible situations, and I think it's just hilarious. But I did think that the beginning of the first episode of this season was a little slow, but by that second half, it really picked up, and it felt like I was right back in the swing of things from Season 1, which I loved. Because sometimes shows they'll do like a time jump or something, or there'll just be something really strange, and like you're trying to have to figure out what's going on. But this, they like picked up right where we left off, and it just worked really well. It got me right back into the spirit, and I was like, yeah, I was roaring and ready to go. Let's see what else. Oh, and then with Vault being down and Huey being my favorite character, I loved, even though he gets himself into some terrible situations, I loved seeing him get that win. And then like Frenchie and what's his name, Milk. I don't quite remember that guy. What's his name? Marvin. Oh, Marvin. Marvin and Frenchie were like, big upping him, and I like seeing like that relationship develop, and them kind of like taking Huey under his wing now, and they're kind of supporting him, and even like against Billy at a certain point. So I like seeing that develop, and I just like good things for my boy Huey. Let's see. Do do do. Oh, and then I liked how Marvin is kind of telling like Billy that Huey is his canary. Like you can't let him, like if he dies, like then you failed. Something has gone terribly wrong. So I love that dynamic and the relationships that we're seeing them develop, and Huey kind of growing into his own, like realizing that he's not this big muscular smart guy, but he has what he has, and he's like the hero that you don't expect, but that maybe you need. So I really like Huey's character and the journey that he's kind of been on so far. Love that he and Stargirl exposed Vought, and I'm really interested to see what more develops for him in the rest of the season. I like him and Starlight together. I hope that they can work it out, and I like seeing Starlight kind of grow into her own as well, coming from like the innocent girl that she was in season one to kind of discovering, what Vault is all about. And now this season, really standing up for herself. And, she's not, maybe not the best thing to do, but she's framing people. She's being a little more tough this season. And I really like to see it. And we see her like stand up to the Deep when they come back together. And I didn't like her kind of begging for what's that girl's Stormfront approval, but I mean I got where she was coming from because she feels a lot of what Stormfront was saying. But I like seeing her grow into her own as well. Let's see what else. Oh, and then the addition of Giancarlo. You can't go wrong with him. Like he came at the very end of season one, but like he's great. Like Breaking Bad is one of my favorite shows, and Gus Fring, you can't go wrong with Gus Fring. Like just too good. Like really compelling anytime he's on screen, and I like seeing him challenge Homelander, because Homelander just he irks me. I love to hate Homelander. He is the worst, but just so interesting and good to watch. Like he makes the story interesting. He brings this really unique dynamic. But I love seeing Giancarlo like kind of challenge him versus the woman in season one. I can't remember her name, but she more like coddled him. She coddled Homelander and like stroked his ego. But like Giancarlo, or what is his name in the show? I don't remember his name in the show, but y'all know what I'm talking about. He's tough with him and up front, and he puts Homelander in his place and reminds him that like this is my empire, you're like an employee basically. So I like that dynamic. And let's see, oh, there are a couple moments that I weren't like really super important, but they were like truly terrible, but like great to see, that I just wanted to talk about. So one, Homelander in that scene with the milk, like again, Homelander, that's such a disgusting thing. Like he's like how he's drinking the breast milk and like savoring, like it's just such a strange dynamic from this dude. But like I can't take my eyes off the screen like to something like that, like truly disgusting but so interesting. And then like, or let's see, Homelander like stabbing that the deaf guy, or no, the blind guy's his ears, because that's where his power was, and he's like, you think I'm gonna let like a disabled into the seven? Like again, terrible. This guy's like he worships Homelander, and then Homelander like injures him even more. Now he doesn't have any superpower, and he's on the ground bleeding, and then he's threatening the lady, and it's just like he's the worst, but I can't take my eyes off the screen. Like, great, really great, and really developed character for sure. I want to say one of my favorites, but I honestly hate him. Like, I love to hate that dude. Let's see what else. Oh, um, the deep talking to his gills. I really enjoyed that scene. I think that was an important scene because that kind of makes sense with how he treats women and how he is in the show. And shout out to Patton Oswalt, who's doing the voice of his gills. It's Patton Oswalt is, a legend. He's always out here voicing something, and he's everywhere. But I enjoy that scene. It was really, again, the show has so many like strange and odd things, but they work really well. And now that I'm talking about the gills, it kind of makes me think of that scene in season one with the girl, and she was like, his gills, and that was another disgusting and like ugh moment. And I felt so disgusting watching that, but I couldn't like fast forward or turn it off. And I think that's a lot of the charm of this show is that they have it's just so entertaining whether you want something to happen or not. The way that it does, it keeps you intrigued. Let's see. Oh, and then like Huey always getting blasted with blood, just hilarious. I feel bad for my dude, but he gets himself into these situations. Like the FBI's agent, the FBI agent head blowing up on them, and then he's like having a panic attack. Like our head's gonna blow up. Like love that scene. And then when they got covered in blood again in the third episode, when they like crash into the like big well or whatever it was that the Deep put up there, and then he's just like traumatized sitting inside of it. Like I can't move, I can't go anywhere. And that was just like a really good scene, and seeing them come together for him again with that like Huey is the canary, we have to save him, and then getting him out of there. Like I just really enjoy his character and the journey. And man, I'm a fan of this show for sure. Those are all I have for the good. I might have missed a few things in those episodes, so leave a comment below. Let me know some of your favorite moments in the first three episodes of season two, or from season one too. I'm ready to talk about it all. But that's all I got for the good. Now let's get into my bad. Okay, so I don't have that much bad. Again, I thought it was a little slow, like the first half of that first episode of this season, but I think that was kind of needed to kind of reestablish a few things, and then that second half it really picked up again, and it was going. Like I really enjoyed the first three episodes so far. Um, Again, Homelander annoys me, but I love to hate him, so I had to mention him in the bad section. I didn't quite like the storyline with his son and Billy's wife. Not that I didn't like it. I thought that it's an interesting road to go down. He just angered me how he was behaving in that situation. Like this woman has raised him. Like you can't treat her like that. But I guess he feels like his child was taken away from him, even though didn't he rape her? So you kind of don't have a leg to stand on here, dude. Except for you have superpowers, so you can like threaten people. But so that just angered me a bunch throughout the season. Though I did really like his son kind of ending up like disliking him, and I have a really interesting hope and like I have an interesting theory and hope for where that storyline will go down through the rest of the season, and I'll get into that a bit later. But that dynamic I put it under the bad just because it really angered me how Homelander was behaving in that entire situation. But it's very on brand for him, and like it's still interesting to watch because I love to hate that dude. Um, and then Stormfront, she's in my bad, but she's still kind of good. Like I think that the character is really good. I think she's really well developed, just like the rest of the characters in this show. Um, but she's another one that I don't like. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about her at first because like I wasn't quite sure. I was like, okay, she's kind of edgy. We'll see, we'll see. And then I started to kind of like her because I saw like the attitude that she had and like how she was like vocal and I liked her spunk. But then by this final episode, I really didn't like it. Like how she was treating what's her name, Kimiko's brother, like how she did him in the end, like that made me mad. And of course she's racist. Of course she's racist. Like you would she call him a yellow bastard? Like I was like, oh, of course she's racist. So yeah, I don't like her now. So she's on my bad list. I hope that I hope she doesn't make it past this season. Though I think it is a really good character, but I don't want to deal with her too much longer. I hope she gets brought down, preferably by Kimiko for killing her brother. I'd love to see that show off. Let's see what else. And then the Deep. While I did like that Gil scene, like I mentioned, I wasn't really a big fan of his storyline so far in the first three episodes. Like it was just a bit boring to me, honestly. Like it could be interesting potentially in the future, like maybe because it's like a religious cult type thing. It seems like so that could go down an interesting road, but the setup for it so far has been pretty boring, honestly. And like the Deep was one of my favorite characters from the first season. I liked his journey throughout and seeing him kind of depressed, and I actually felt bad for him by the end of season one. But I don't know, it didn't really his storyline didn't really take off for me at all this season so far. And the same thing with A Train. I don't think his story has really done much so far. I need it to develop into something more because he was kind of gone that first episode, then he popped back up and was kind of like uh, trying to intimidate Starlight, but then she like popped back on him, and that didn't really go anywhere. And he's like he's still having like his faintness of heart, so I'm sure that'll end up developing into something. But right now, I'm kind of bored by it anytime he's on screen as well. Um, uh, yeah, I think that's all I got for my bad. Again, not that much bad. Just I feel like they need to pick up Deep and A Train's storylines. Um, Stormfront angers me, but she is a good character. And then I think that the way that Homelander was kind of treating Billy's wife and his son, that angered me, but it's still again interesting to watch. So that's all I got for bad though. So let's get into my final thoughts, and I'll tell you my hopes for the rest of this season and my rating so far for season two. Okay, so episodes one through three of season two. I think that again, I'm really liking it so far. I hope that some things pick up, but overall, it's kept the same standard that season one had for sure. So kind of my hopes for the rest of the season. One, I need like Homelander killed. Not maybe not killed because again, he adds a cool dynamic to the show, but I need him at least like heavily injured. Like I need him broken down a bit. Like I need him to be brought down a few pegs because his arrogance gets to me, man. And that kind of brings me into like my theory or hope with the son storyline because I'd like his son to be the one who like knocks him down a few notches. I want his son to like heavily injure him or maybe even kill him. Like I think that would be a really cool and interesting storyline to go down because like he feels kind of indestructible up to this point. Homelander does, but if it's like his son is the one who finally brings him down, I think that'd be a really cool role to go down. And speaking of them, I feel like I kind of want Billy to get back to his wife and his I guess now stepson, but I feel like that won't happen. What I'm kind of predicting is that Homelander will end up killing uh, Billy's wife, and then so I hope that Homelander's son kills Homelander, and then or again heavily injures Homelander, and then we get like Billy and the son kind of left in this awkward situation. Well, now Billy has to raise his wife's son with Homelander, and I just think that it could be again a really interesting road to go down because Billy doesn't seem like the type to raise kids, but I'm sure he would try to love his wife's son, so that could be fun. And now he hates like superheroes, so him trying to raise one, like it could, there's some really interesting things that could go on with that story, and they were already been renewed for season 3, so I'd love to kind of develop that relationship in season 3. But I'd love to see that that kind of happen throughout the rest of this season. Let's see what else. Oh, I hope that the boys' names get cleared in this season, because they've already exposed Vought now, so that's out there. So I'm hoping they can get cleared, and maybe even like kind of not worship, but kind of looked up to in the media because they've been the ones exposing Vought and all that they're up to. So I hope that that happens. Um, Let's see. And then I need something to happen to Stormfront too. I'd love for, again, if Kamiko happens to, end Stormfront because she killed her brother. I would also take Starlight ending her because I don't know. I like Starlight and I don't like Stormfront. So I don't know. No, I want Kamiko to take Stormfront down, but Starlight can be there to help. Um, and then something that I think could be cool. Maybe if it doesn't happen this season, maybe in a subsequent season, because I'm sure the show's gonna be on for a while. I'd like for Huey to maybe become a superhero too, because all he need, it's like he's somebody who's really weak, I guess, and he's kind of saying this season like maybe I'm not the hero that you expect, but the hero that you need. So I think that could be a really interesting road to go down with his character, like him becoming, a soup. And that I don't have no idea what his powers would be, just because he's so, you know, pathetic, kind of. But I think that'd be an interesting road to go down with his character, and then him and Stormfront trying to figure out what that means for them. And I do hope that they work it out. But I don't know. It could go either way because I feel like this isn't quite the show for happy endings. So maybe something will go wrong, but I don't know. I root for them because I love both of those characters. Oh, and I didn't mention Frenchie and Kamiko. Love that relationship. So I hope they keep developing and growing together, and hopefully Marvin gets back with his family. But I hope that Kamiko and Frenchie, develop into even more. Maybe they'll have a little baby eventually. I really like those characters, and their dynamic is hilarious. Uh, yeah, but I think that's all I got for like my hopes for the rest of this season. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you hope for the rest of this season. Any predictions that you have. And so now my rating for this season so far, again, I think it's really good. So I would say it's kind of in the 8.5/9 range for me right now, which is a really good score. I'm excited to see where they go with the rest of the season, and my score could, of course, go up or down. So yeah, that's all I got on the first 3 episodes. I'm thinking that I'll come back once a full season is out and give my thoughts on the full season and my final rating. But that's all I got for right now. Again, leave a comment below. Let me know what you've liked so far, what you haven't liked so far. Who are your favorite characters? Any thoughts or predictions that you have for the rest of the season? Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks for stopping by. See y'all next time.